or pyramids. Such stacks of artificial fields would allow city dwellers to harvest crops all year round in areas without available land. They would also significantly reduce the energy required for food transportation.
I would say it would take about approximately 10 years to change the surface of the earth with multiple jigs and giant machines, not bricklayers, plasterers, high-tech systems, about 10 years. Okay. We've garden cities all over the world, but we'd have to level most of the old cities and mine.
Would lower crop loss associated with shipping and storage, could recycle their own water, and within their sealed environments may even use fewer pesticides. One vertical farm could potentially feed 50,000 people.
The guideways without wrapping around them. And because they aren't attached to the guideway, trains could reroute and switch on the fly.
You can't have a network system without good switches. You have more cars and you have them dynamically routed. Because of the switching, you can send cars to the places where they need.
AGV are testing those limits with their latest prototype, the AGV, expected to go out the train's bulk by using carbon composites in place of steel. But there's another problem designers are going to have to solve if we're going to race into the future on rails. That's the problem of curves. Generation of Japanese trains is expected to blow it away. The experimental Fast-Tech 360 has a carriage designed to blast, uses flaps like an airplane, earning it the nickname Cat Ears. To rethink our expectations of what trains can do, and it's not over yet. Those trains will float, slide, and fly, and they won't need 350 passengers, making this flying train perhaps the most energy-efficient and cost-effective way to travel in the future. But Kohama isn't the only train innovator. We'll have a motor that drives a set of steel rollers, and these rollers will fit into grooves built into the train itself, passing the train from one ring to the next. The train is secured in place by 3 rings at all times, and its body will be reinforced so that it can never slip or break.
Once the vehicle is in the rings, it really cannot escape. It's much like holding a pencil in your fist and holding it tight rather than on the ground space.
Worst energy problems become our greatest solution.
In the future, I see an integration of public infrastructure systems using high-speed, elevated maglev rail systems like the hydrogen superhighway or the
A microbial electrolysis cell. Inside the cell, bacteria live and breathe, and in the process, produce hydrogen.
The key is
for steel, glass, whatever we can get from them. After we level the cities, we might keep a few cities as museum cities to show people what people used to live in, to show kids of the future what the world used to be, just as the pyramids would be preserved.
turns hydrogen into electricity. Hydrogen atoms stored in the cell interact with oxygen from the air. The result? Electrons are stripped from the hydrogen, creating electricity. The only byproduct is H2O, water. And at least in theory, a fuel cell trains are facing a slowdown because getting hydrogen from water.
This is inside the new city. You see it around? No street people, no hungry people.
Hi, my name's Andrew Buxton. I'm the co-founder of the Venus Project Design with my partner Utopie. We started working for the Venus Project 2 years ago to help them develop the physical models that Jacques has done throughout his life with Roxanne into 3D CGI for use in future films and media.
Winding curves have been the worst enemy of the country's famous bullet trains, forcing the
In ancient Rome, they had to use a lot of columns to support a structure. Yeah. Now you can have a structure way out without any braces or anything. But the old architectures, it looks bad, put some braces there. You don't need them anymore. The old airplanes were braced all over the place. Now the wings are tough enough to hold themselves up. But if you cling to the romantic concepts of the German house and the Swedish house, with all the lines on it, or English architecture, then you're dead. You're living the life of a dead person that influenced you at school. Let's now do architecture that's relevant to the best of new materials.
Of physical space due to rising shortage of land has led us once again to the threshold of redefining our dwelling. Here are some of the most interesting floating structures, a possible abode for our future generations. The Floating Era Hotel by Alexander Asadov is a marvelous architectural design that will be a landmark for the floating structures of the future. The 200-meter wide central body of the platform sits on various beams, resembling a bicycle with supporting arms. The visitors will be able to trip the hotel either by water, climbing one of the foundation arms, or by air, using the airstrips on the deck. This under-construction project is one of the most innovative, rather fantastic options available for future commercial and residential architecture. The underwater city in Bulgaria is a revolutionary town, since it's not only built in the middle of the lake but also below the water level. Though not fully under the water, a huge dam enclosing the city keeps the water away from the living area. Surely it can be a great tourist spot, attracting millions of visitors from all over the world. The next architectural futuristic abode becomes a reality only when half the world's existing shorelines have disappeared due to rising sea levels. This floating ecopolis for climate refugees has stealth Mercedes branding in its windows, biotic walls, and a roof covered with grassland soaking up solar energy. Its submerged bottom serves as a natural seabed for planktons and oceanic plants. The ecopolis also features biotic functions which will help the floating communities self-sustain, and survive in the increasingly challenging environs of the future Earth. Truly a marvel to watch only if you happen to survive that long. The award-winning oil rig resort, spa and aquatic adventure design concept by Morris Architects aims to convert the standard Gulf Coast oil rig into a sustainable luxury resort. Hotelier at Sea Project will use nearly 80 million square feet of space on these rigs to create exclusive resort islands, thereby creating an eco-friendly, luxurious oceanic experience. The prefabricated rooms will be transported out to the rig as a standard cargo container. Guest room unfolds and extends to the functional configuration. Now, transforming discarded oil rigs into luxury hotels for the rich and the famous is unquestionably a great idea. The idea of an underground hotel might not be unique, but this one under construction in Dubai is larger, deeper underwater, and far more opulent than its rivals. While an automatic train running through underground tunnels takes the guests to the hotel, 220 of the hotel's bubble-shaped suites lie on the floor of the Persian Gulf, 66 feet under the surface of the water. Due to marine environment and financial issues, the Hydropolis construction timeline is blown out somewhat and is now expected to be completed by 2009. The next one, called the AZ Island project, is really something outrageous. This high-tech architectural island is the brainchild of architect John Philip Zupponi. If the project sees the light of the day, it will measure 400 meters by 300 meters, will have 29 floors, and will be able to welcome up to 10,000 passengers. It's really too much for someone's imagination. The mermaid-inspired aquatic building by JD Architects shows the building in every extreme biome on Earth, from tropical islands to glacial surroundings. The structure has 4 central functions: a dolphinarium, wellness center, vacation homes, and a hotel, each one of which are nestled between dynamic architectural features like caves, sloping hills, and of course the dramatic inclines of the island building itself. Mermaid is a new take on ecotourism. It brings dolphins and sea life front and center for visitors and residents, all wrapped up in a dramatic architectural feat. Designed by Giancarlo Zema, the floating dwelling comprises 5 separate levels, all connected by a snazzy spiral staircase. The colossal seat in the sea stands 10 meters high and 15 meters wide. The floors are very neatly split into study, night, day, guest, and viewing quarters.